Morning, this is Brian. Today is Thursday, August 1st, 2024, and I'm here in the community of Sabre Springs in northeastern San Diego, and I'm just out here looking to hike to a small summit in the area, small hill, peak 590. It's on Peak Bagger. So I'm going to look to see if I can navigate my way over to there. So I'm in this open space park right near the intersection of Spring Brook and Spring Meadow, a couple blocks south of Powell Road. So I'm here near the Penasquitos Creek area, looking to see if I can find my way to that small peak. So let's see. A pretty early start today. It's not even 6 o'clock in the morning yet. It's only like just before 5:50 a.m. So I'm getting another quick early start today. And let's see if I can navigate my way to the small peak. I think there's supposed to be a flag on top of this hill. I guess some of the locals call it Cypress Hill. Not to be confused with the hip-hop group out of LA County, but I'm looking to see if I can navigate my way to the top of that one. Try to make this a relatively short hike today, since I'm doing it on Thursday instead of Wednesday, and I go back to work tomorrow. So I'm going to try to get in something. Yesterday it was just not happening, so we'll see how it goes today. We're near the Penasquitos Creek area, and it's very nice and beautiful this morning. Surrounded by coast live oaks. So we'll see how this works today. Even just the walk to get to the trailhead from Springbrook was pretty neat. Alright. We'll see what happens. Alright, well, after a nice brief woodsy stretch right along the houses there, now I'm out in the coastal sage scrub now. So let's see if I can find where my hill is. I'm pretty sure I was able to see it when I was driving past on Powell Road. That's the exit I got off of Interstate 15. Get off, go east on Powell Road. Don't go west on Rancho Penasquitos. Go east on Powell Road. Go down a few blocks and you'll see Springbrook. Turn right there and you'll find some parking relatively close to the trailhead on Springbrook is where I did my parking. So I parked on Springbrook just north of the intersection of Spring Meadow. Spring Meadow, I think, it's in a private community, so I didn't go parking in there. I just walked about 3/4 of a block down the road to access this. I just walked a short distance along some beautiful willow trees and everything, which I'll be pointing out on my return, as it was still pretty dark. Still pretty dark when I started walking there, but just in the last couple of minutes it just brightened up considerably. And I said, it looks like some chaparral up on the side of the hill. This might be a pretty interesting hike. Assuming it will be. I believe that's my destination over there. I think that's Hill 590, or it's listed as Hill 590 on Peak Bagger. I haven't been really doing much summit-focused hiking lately. You can tell my last few videos are more focused on local San Diego area canyon hikes and stuff like that, and a Mission Trails hike. Just haven't been really focused on a lot of summit climbing because it's just been not extraordinarily hot, at least on this side of the mountains, the coastal side of the mountains, but it's been sticky and warm, so it makes it pretty uncomfortable. So I've been focusing on shorter, more moderate and easy outings. And last week's outing over by Hendricks Pond and Hoyt Park, those very rewarding in their own right. So, not to say that it's been boring. It's been pretty interesting, actually. Just on much smaller scale, due to this being, for me, kind of like the off-season. Now that I live far away from much higher elevation mountains, like in Riverside, San Bernardino, LA counties, I tend to, it's kind of more of my off season because it's just been blazing hot in the lower mountains of San Diego County. So I've been focusing on more coastal hikes, and it's been kind of the trend the last 3 summers. That's a pretty nice little trail. Very nice, actually. Yeah, I believe that's my hill over there. Doesn't look like this is going to be an extremely long hike. Just something to get me out and enjoying some fresh air right now, actually. Before it gets too hot. We are kind of in a lull right now in the big heat, the big time heat. But I think by tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, it's supposed to rev up, and it's supposed to be more that summer. It's more that humid heat too. It looks like with warm overnight lows. So there's a pretty good chance that next week I might not be getting out. Okay, so here we go. We're going through a kind of a marshy area here, as evidenced by these look like broadleaf cattail. I believe this is broadleaf cattail. So I'm going to use these little boardwalks here. Pretty interesting. I've read a couple trip reports about Hill 590 on Peak Bagger, but I think most of the people come from a different direction. So that should be interesting. All right, well, let me go focus on getting across this without slipping and getting all muddy. All right, see you on the next clip. All right, look at some decent sized scrub oaks over here. What are we looking at? What kind of scrub oak? This appears to be Quercus dumosa. Yeah, this is the coastal or Nuttall scrub oak, and it's developing a lot of acorns on it right now. Yeah, these are some pretty big scrub oaks. Very nice. Oh yeah, these are some nice ones. I see acorns all in them developing for this fall. Try not to step too close because there is some poison oak growing out there. And what do we have here? There's a type of barberry here. I'm trying to figure out what species this is. This appears to be the California barberry. This looks like Berberis aquifolium variety dictyota. Kinda. Doesn't look as shiny as Berberis pinnata subspecies pinnata, but we have a species of barberry here, also known by some as Oregon grape. Not related to the grapes. But yeah, we've got some barberry growing here too. Yeah, these are some magnificent scrub oaks, some beautiful ones too. Crazy cool. Yeah, that's got to be my hill up there. I think there are a couple different paths that kind of worm their way up there, so I'll have to figure out which one I want to take. Maybe make a loop option on the way down. Ah, that's cool. We have some Oregon grape or barberry, but it looks like Berberis aquifolium variety dictyota. Now nearby, there is a pretty big population of Berberis pinnata subspecies pinnata, the shiny leaf barberry, And that's over along the Camino Ruiz Trail. Camino Ruiz, from Camino Ruiz Park down into Penasquitos Canyon. So that's the Pinata that's the Pinata species, shiny one. Oh, here's a magnificent lemonade berry right here. So yeah, back to what I was saying. It appears that we might have both species growing in the Rancho Penasquitos area. Yeah, beautiful lemonade berries too. The lighting's probably not that great because I did get a pretty early start today. I guess I gotta go back to work tomorrow, trying to beat the heat. There's no marine layer, so I'm expecting it's probably gonna start heating up today. So, good decision to get out early and enjoy some action before the day gets too hot. Alright, so looks like this trail's gonna go up this way. Starting to see some Chuck Dudleyias popping up. These little white things popping up, those are all Chuck Dudleya inflorescences. Here we go, right here. Yeah, still got flowers on the Chuck Dudleyias. Did a spotlight on this plant just under a month ago. About 21 days ago. About 3 weeks ago. So yeah. This is some pretty interesting coastal sage scrub because there's a lot of scrub oak in it. Typically scrub oak's more of a chaparral species, but sometimes it does, actually it does fairly often grow in coastal sage scrub. And what we got here? Ooh, California spine shrub, or California Adolphia. Leafless for its summer dry season. Well, almost leafless. You can see it still has a few leaves left on it, but this is Adolphia californica. Actually, pretty frequent in this area, in the Rancho Penasquitos area of San Diego. Actually, quite a bit of it. Seen it in quite a few locations here. Yeah, so we're in the Rancho Penasquitos / Sabre Springs area. So Rancho Penasquitos is a little more west, and Sabre Springs is kind of in this area and a little bit east before it goes over the Van Dam Hills over there. Those are the Van Dam Hills. You got Van Dam Peak, North Van Dam Peak, a couple other peaks I hit one time when I was hiking over there back in February. Hit some peaks in the area. That was a very nice hike as well. Less than 4 miles of hiking, and I was able to visit 3 separate peaks. So I have to admit that was a pretty cool afternoon. It was an after work hike too. All right. Yeah, lots of beautiful scrub oak here. Yeah, this all appears to be Quercus dumosa. I don't see any acutidens or berbertifolia in here. Well, this one, probably still dumosa. Just sometimes vigorous shoots have larger leaves on them. So I don't know what that is there. It looks like it leads up to the neighborhood. I'm going to continue here on the single track. This is pretty cool over here. Oh, look at this giant ryegrass. Elaemus condensatus, sometimes known by its other botanical name, Elaemus condensatus. Giant ryegrass growing here too. Alright. Yeah, this doesn't look like this is going to be an extremely long hike. My hill's up ahead already. What we got here? Douglas mugwort. Oh yeah, it's blooming too. Look at that. Artemisia douglasiana. Starting to bloom already. Pretty neat. And of course, we got mule fat here. Baccharis salicifolia, subspecies salicifolia. And arroyo willow. Salix laciolepis kicking in. And a lot of coyote brush. A lot of coyote brush around here too. Actually, when I first early part of the hike, there were lots And lots of coyote brush. Then we got some non-native tamarix. Probably Tamarix ramosissima, but I'm not sure how to tell these tamarisks apart. One tamarisk I know for a fact would be Tamarix aphylla, which is more of a tree than a thicket-forming shrub. All right. Yeah, looks like that's my hill. So I wonder if there's still a flag up there. I'm kind of curious to check that out. Now what I got to do is look for a trail heading up there, and we'll see if I can find that. All right. We'll see what happens next. So I'm coming up to the next junction here. I guess I'm gonna take a left here. Let's see if this heads up towards the hill. It's paved over here. Pretty interesting. And I see it looks like a use trail or game trail up here. I believe that's gonna be my next, one of my next moves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start heading up this way, start heading uphill and see if this leads me to my destination. So I'm gonna start finally actually climbing now. This hike should probably be no more than 250 to 350 feet of elevation gain. All right. This should be interesting. Getting the aroma of California sagebrush popping up right now. It's not as strong as it is during the winter season when it's rainy and rainier and the plants are greener, but it's still pretty strong. Still very noticeable and very pleasant. All right. Nice views of the canyons around here. All right, away I go, and I'll keep updating you about my progress. It's a beautiful lemonade berry right here. This is a nice one. Very scenic specimen. Look at that. It's not extraordinarily large. Boy, is it beautiful. Oh my, this is a pretty neat little romp in the coastal sage scrub. Starting to get a little bit higher up on the hill. I believe that's peak 1080. I think that's one of the peaks I hit, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure that's one of the peaks I hit when I did the Sabre Springs open space hike up to North Van Dam Peak. I think that was one of the peaks I hit right there. Pretty sure that's peak 1080. So I remember it bring right over a residential area. I'm pretty sure that's it. As we climb, getting more into black sage action now. Got more black sage popping up. That's pretty nice. Definitely a little something to get my nearly weekly activity in. Hoping this leads to the top. I know there's supposed to be a lot of trails crisscrossing the area. That's over towards Black Mountain open space over there. Those are some of the peaks nearby. Black Mountain. Okay, starting to steepen up a little bit here. Still not that bad, really, when I consider. It's been a very short hike to get here. I think I brought way too much water for this short hike. Oh well, at least I got water with me. Here, a red-shouldered hawk calling right now. Not sure where. But yeah. Looks like we got monsoonal clouds. I have a feeling the monsoon's gonna increase the humidity over the area. Coming up soon. It is a bit sticky out. Kind of wishing I went out yesterday morning. It was cooler yesterday morning. It was in the 50s. It was nice. It's not that hot or anything this morning, but it's definitely stickier. Just watch your steps. A little rocky. Just pay attention where you're stepping. It's not that bad. A little steep as we get towards the top, but overall it's a pretty easy hike. Okay, well, there's the flag already. I'm just about to summit. All right, well, this is it. Hill 590, peak 590. And here's the flag. It's the American flag. Pretty neat. So this is the summit. There's Interstate 15. That's the Powell Road exit right there. So that's Interstate 15 going northbound, and that's Powell Road going east. The other side is Rancho Penasquitos. So, yeah, it's pretty easy getting up here. I'm sweating something fierce because it is kind of muggy out, but pretty easy. For the most part, it's very relaxed getting up here. Just the last little bit's a little steep. Just take your time, you'll be fine. But looks like I'm gonna have to go into view pointing out mode first. I'm gonna get a summit selfie and a couple summit shots, and then start talking about views. Alright, I guess it's about time to talk about some views up here. Now, we do have a lot of higher hills kind of blocking some of the views, but the views that we do have are still pretty neat. And I better start figuring out where I'm going to start. Alright, so I'm going to start by looking south. And that's looking over towards, well, we got this here. That's over towards Rancho Penasquitos, and then out that way towards Mira Mesa. We're going to swing to the southeast, and since there's a lot of haze and mist in the air, it's going to be kind of hard to show all the peaks, but I can see the profile of El Cajon Mountain and Viejas Mountain over that way. And I can barely see Cuyamaca, but you won't see it on camera. What you will be able to see is the Powell range over off to the east now, more east or east-northeast. So we're going to call this east. And it's Iron Mountain right there at 2,696 feet. And I can barely see North Iron Mountain poking out from the side of the hills over here. As we look more towards the northeast here, this is the Sabre Springs neighborhood of San Diego. Sabre Springs Park is just down there, and these are the Van Dam Hills here. And no, that is not peak 1080. Now that I have a better view of the area, that is not peak 1080. I believe that's hill 981. That's actually the first peak I climbed when I did that hike back in mid-February. That's peak 981 right there, point 981. That's another Peak Bagger summit. That over there is peak 1080. That's peak 1080, and then North Van Dam Peak is somewhere behind, a little bit higher up, but behind that ridge line there. So that ridge line there is the main ridge line leading towards North Van Dam Peak. Van Dam Peak you really can't see from here because it's a much smaller mound behind the ridge. But yeah, so that's peak 1080, one of the peaks I climbed when I did the Sabre Springs hike, and that's peak 981 now that I get a better perspective of the area. Now if we're looking more off towards the north, off in the distance you can see the hazy ridge of Palomar Mountain, a place I need to start going back to every year. I used to have a habit of going there every year, and then I slipped off for a few years. Finally last November I went over there and enjoyed the fall color. So I'm going to look more towards the towards the northwest. And we got the Black Mountain area. I can zoom back out a little bit because I can get this all in frame. And some of the hills of Black Mountain, Little Black Mountain and Manzanita Loop Hill somewhere in there. And there's Black Mountain itself. Always admired that since I was a kid. So now we're going to look towards the west. And that's looking over towards, I believe, Solana Beach and Del Mar and other places. And of course, Interstate 15. And a nice big bridge right there too, cutting its way through. Now, we swing it around to the southwest. And there's a hill I did also back in February. And that is Miramar Benchmark right there. Hill 844. The three little tower studs up there. So that's Canyon Hills Open Space Park over there. That's another nice hike. It's a short hike. I did about a 2.2 mile loop around that one. And some beautiful coastal sage scrub. I went up there when it was green from all the rain, so now it would probably be kind of similar to this, a little browner and stuff. But go up there after a rainy season, it's unbelievably verdant. But nevertheless, it's a nice, pretty easy hike. Actually, probably close to the difficulty of this, maybe a little more challenging, but pretty easy hike up there. Good views on top of that summit as well. And then again, we're going to close it out by going back towards the south. So yeah, pretty good views up here. Nice hills. Just some, looks like large scrub oak chaparral beneath that business complex up there. So you get some good views down this canyon here too. You'll see some eucalyptus, sycamore, and coast live oaks down there, even some fan palms. There's a little water pump station right there. A little pump station there. So I'm wondering if I should lengthen this out a little bit and maybe try to loop around the hill a little bit, maybe change the scenery. I mean, it's a pretty easy short hike getting up here. I started at 5:47 this morning, and it's not even 6:30 in the morning yet, so it'd be kind of foolish just to call it a morning already. So maybe what I'll do is I'll explore. Oh boy. Just watch out, there are some cables on the ground. Just be careful. So maybe what I'll do is I'll go explore around the top of the hill a little bit and just enjoy our nation's flag right on top of the hill here. Good little spot for Instagram and TikTok posts or whatever, if you're into that kind of thing. So it looks like there's no trail here, but I do get a slightly better view. There's Powell Road. There's even, it's part of the Penasquitos Creek area cutting through here, which is pretty nice. And it's very lush riparian growth down there. It's just nice up here. And if you take Powell Road, it'll take you all the way to 67 at the eastern terminus, and right across the road from the intersection is the Iron Mountain Trailhead, if so interested. If you're in this area and you feel like, hey, I gotta go somewhere else, and be a little bit of a haul going on Powell Road, but it'll take you over to that trailhead and you can hike Iron Mountain. If you can get it in either before it gets hot, or you can get it there before the parking lot fills up over there. I don't imagine this area here gets an insane amount of traffic, but I do notice it gets equestrian traffic because I do see signs of horses up here. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and explore this way. Alright, I'm gonna go down the hill this way and explore a little bit around here and see what other cool things I can find and work my way back to the trail system. As I'm slowly descending this side of the hill, which appears to be the southwestern slope of the hill, starting to get some interesting botanical finds coming up. So we've got some more chalk dudleya here, some Dudleya pulverulenta, and they're still blooming. They still got some of those little reddish, magenta reddish flowers still on them, which is pretty cool. And then what I didn't expect to see, I wasn't thinking about it, and I sure am now. Coast barrel cactus. Phaerocactus viridescens. Right here on this slope. And I see a few more popping up too. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Beautiful coast barrel cactus. And there's some more coming up too as we go down this hill. There's actually, looks like there are actually several of them over here. So you just watch out, it's a little slippery here. These rocks kind of act like ball bearings, so just be careful. Take your time descending and enjoy this population of Phaerocactus viridescens. There's just a huge chunk of them right over here. Look at this. All these are all coast barrel cactus plants right here. There's a bunch of them. I don't think I've ever seen such a dense population in one area. And of course, the more I go out, the more places I go, chances of seeing more of this type of action will increase. But there's just also an amazing amount of chalk dudleya, some prickly pear cactus. I'm not going to touch the spines, but I'm assuming this is probably coast prickly pear. And yes, a lot more chalk dudleya just spraying all over this hillside. Usually expect to see these a little bit more on north-facing slopes, but as I mentioned in my spotlight video on this plant, but that's not always the case. Because this is we're actually facing more south and southwest, and there are just tons. All these are chalk dudleya inflorescences. Tons of chalk dudleya over here. Here's a big one right here. This has got a pretty big rosette. And a bunch of what I call arms. I playfully call them arms. The inflorescences that hold all the flowers. There are just tons of chalk dudleyas all over this all over this hillside here, just covering all these buckwheats, sagebrushes, and prickly pear cactus plants all over. Yeah, okay, this is definitely another little hidden gem here in the San Diego area. So, and here's some more of that coast barrel cactus. There's more of it popping up here too. Look at that. These are the developing fruits. These right here, these are the developing fruits of Phaerocactus viridescens. That's pretty cool. That is actually pretty awesome. Not just cool, it's awesome. If I would have caught these in bloom, this would have been probably an instant spotlight video. But I have yet to spotlight Phaerocactus viridescens. But definitely taking time to appreciate them. Alright. Okay, well, decision to vary the scenery coming down from the hill was definitely a very good decision in my retrospective look on this hike. Now I'm coming down to this saddle right here. Or much of a saddle, but it's kind of a little mountain, little hill pass over here. I'm gonna look to see which way I'm gonna go. Could go this way to explore a little bit. I'm just curious as to which way I want to go. This would probably start heading me towards the return leg of my trip. Pretty nice. I think I'm gonna go head down this way. I'm gonna add a little distance to this. There's our hill right here. Not as prominent from the backside. It's definitely a really cool kind of almost volcanic dome-shaped hill. It's not volcanic soil. It's not a volcano that I am aware of, but just an interesting cone-shaped hill, or more of a knob or a sugarloaf type hill. So yeah, that was a pretty satisfying hill climb right there. Easy one, but I'm going to definitely be going down this canyon a little bit to see what else I can find. See if I can find some more adventure. So I'm definitely not ready to return back and go home yet. It's pretty here. I kind of want to see what's down there. It looks like on that side of the hill, I might have mentioned before that there's a huge patch of scrub oak over there, and some of them look quite big. So maybe I'll get a closer perspective on them if I were to head down there, hopefully. So let's see what I find. Alright, so we got a nice, looks like a scrub oak tree. This is an interesting looking scrub oak. It's mostly a single trunk one too. This appears to still could potentially be within the realm of Dumosa. This is a very handsome scrub oak. It's actually almost a single trunk tree. It's got a couple of like a small stem or two near the base of it, but it's almost a single trunk tree, which is pretty neat to see. Very handsome. Look at that. I think that's still Dumosa. I think that's still within the range of Dumosa, I believe. And look at the sticky fruits on the lemonade berry, aka lemonade sumac. Yeah, these scrub oaks are starting to look more intermediate. I'm still thinking these are Dumosas. I'm still thinking these are Dumosas here, but some of them are almost starting to approach what I would expect with some Acutidens, possibly. Alright, so it looks like we got a fork here. I'm going to head towards this way and see. So now we're heading next to some scrub oak action over here. And again, this is not true chaparral. This is more coastal sage scrub. Some of the leaves on these scrub oaks are starting to approach more what I would expect on acutidens or even berbertifolia. Some spiny redberry here. You know I got to point this plant out. I point it out just about every time I come out hiking here in the San Diego area. It's common, so. Oh, I think we got some hollyleaf cherry coming up too. Oh boy. Okay. Yes, we do. Yes. Prunus ilicifolia, subspecies ilicifolia. Starting to get cherries on them too. Okay, I could dig this too. Nice. Okay. All right. Well, it's very interesting now. Just keeps leveling up every time I turn around. It's a nice thicket of hollyleaf cherry here, actually. And of course, we're starting to get more of it as we go down to this canyon. Yeah, there's a cherry right there. Prunus ilicifolia, subspecies ilicifolia. Okay, it looks like we're getting some granite outcropping over here. This is starting to turn more into chaparral now. It's starting to turn more into chaparral as we round this bend here. And it looks like we got Mission Manzanita popping up. Okay, Mission Manzanita is now. I kind of figured that would be coming up as we go into this shadier north-facing slope here. And Toyon developing their little pomes that should ripen in mid-fall. Now we're in a woodsy area. Alright, so we're at the base, kind of at the base of this, near the base of this hill. Oh, actually, we're a little ways up on it, but kind of here at the foot of some, ooh, some huge Mission Manzanita. That's a monster. Psilococcus bicolor, that's a monster Mission Manzanita. That thing's bigger than some of our mountain manzanitas, the Arctostophilo species, some of which get humongous in our mountains. That was a monster Psilococcus bicolor. That thing is huge. And now we're starting to get, it looks like we're getting more into acutidens now. This looks like a Quercus acutidens right here. And coast live oak, a small coast live oak tree right here. Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia action. But we're starting to get those larger leaf scrub oaks that are starting to merge more into Quercus acutidens. Sorry, spider. All right. Yeah. These scrub oaks are getting much larger leaves on them. So we could be merging into berbertifolia acutidens territory now. Oh yeah, that Mission Manzanita literally shook me. That thing was huge. Oh, and of course, decent sized San Diego mountain mahogany over here too. Circocarpus minutiflorus. So yeah. Oh, and of course, now I could definitely say that we're in chaparral because we got common chamise now picking up over here. Yeah, this is the regular Adenostoma fasciculatum variety fasciculatum variant here. The typical one with the more needle-shaped leaves instead of club-shaped, fleshier leaves of the obtusifolium variant, which is a little more coastal than here. I think we're a little far inland for obtusifolium. All right, well, I guess I'm going to keep exploring this for a while. Maybe my turnaround will be by the Interstate 15 bridge or something. I'm really feeling like exploring this a little bit more because this is some beautiful chaparral here. All right, well, I'll catch you on the next clip. Gotta change out some batteries. Got a huge lemonade berry right here. Look at this massive Rus integrifolia. And then looks like this poison oak is dropping its leaves early because some of the ones in the drier portions are summer deciduous. Here's another so-called fall color of Rebe speciosum. They do shed their leaves early during the middle of summer. So it's kind of like fall color in the middle of summer when you don't think of fall because of the weather being so warm. But yeah, we're hiking through this wooded area. Some large mountain mahogany, laurel sumac, lemonade berry. Look at these mountain mahoganies. These are some beautiful specimens. Wow. This is stunning. Look at this. This is crazy. Yeah, I was meant to come down here. This is breathtaking. Oh, and here's a big hollyleaf cherry. A huge hollyleaf cherry. Oh, buddy, look at this. Oh, this thing is massive. And it's got poison oak all in it too. That's what that red stuff is. Look at the size of these hollyleaf cherries. These things are just about the size of these things are just about the size of a tree. Oh my gosh. This is absolutely insane over here. Wow. Okay, this is pretty crazy. Yeah, beautiful Mission Manzanita right here. Wow. This is absolutely bonkers. Oh, we got some San Diego marsh elder over here too. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh no, this is Hazardia squarosa. I wonder what variant that is. I know up in Orange County, LA County is predominantly variety Grindelia. And we got an Eastwood Manzanita. Oh, now, so we actually have an Arctostaphylos here now. This is Arctostaphylos glandulosa, subspecies glandulosa. I think we're a little too far inland for subspecies crassifolia, the Del Mar Manzanita, but we're not that far away from, well, where Del Mar Manzanita is, but we're at such a low elevation here. We're only maybe about 400 feet above sea level here. I didn't think Arctostaphylos crassifolia, subspecies crassifolia, came down this low. I'll keep an eye out to see if there are any records for Del Mar Manzanita in this area, but I think we're a little too far inland for that variant, or that subspecies. Also, we actually have an actual true Manzanita. Now, Mission Manzanita is a relatively close relative. That's it right there, Mission Manzanita. That's a relatively close, the close cousin of the true Manzanita is Arctostaphylos. But it's not a true Manzanita. And here's some big Mission Manzanitas up on this hill here. There's some big ones over here. Very impressive. Very impressive. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely a way I was supposed to come in. And we got Palmer sagewort coming up here. Kind of going for some of its more dormant period right now. Artemisia palmeri kicking up over here. Yeah, this is pretty. Look at that Mission Manzanita. That's a pretty big one too. Some pretty impressive specimens here on this north-facing slope in the chaparral. And it's just a lot of mountain mahogany around here. It's a lot of Cercocarpus minutiflorus. This is a really wild area of chaparral over here. Now, it looks like I'm going to be coming up pretty close to some poison oaks. So this could be kind of iffy over here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I think I can avoid it. Just very carefully worm my way through here and not touch any of the shrubs here. We even got to. Yeah, this is a poison oak here, but then we got Ceanothus tomentosus right here. Woolly leaf Ceanothus. Let me see if I can just worm past this. Yeah, okay. I thought it was going to be growing too far out the trail. Okay. I'm good. I'm past it now. Wow, this is a really cool canyon. This is pretty gnarly. Some great scenery here. Oh, whoa! Here's another supersizer. This is a huge bushroo. Coastal spice bush. Ooh, Neoridium dumosum. This thing is huge. I've never seen one this big before. This thing is massive. Oh man, this thing's taller than me. These things are usually pretty small shrubs. This is insane. Goodness gracious, that thing is huge. Wow. So we got bushroo growing here too. Otherwise, you can find these into the lower foothill communities. So they're not strictly right on the coastline. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely a very interesting area. We've got some younger coast live oaks still kicking in over here. Yeah, this is incredible. This is very, very, very beautiful hiking over here. Yep, this is shiny leaf barberry here. This is Berberis pinnata, subspecies pinnata. So I'm going to assume that the ones that I saw towards the beginning of this hike are probably the same, but these are some pretty tall specimens here too. So yeah, this is an extremely interesting botanical area for those so inclined to explore and botanize. This is definitely a place that will not disappoint you. Yeah, this is Berberis pinnata, subspecies pinnata right here. This is shiny leaf barberry. Wow. Okay. Just the further I walk, the more interesting things get around here. Look at these scrub oaks here. This really, really rugged toyon, well, small toyon here, but then a rugged lemonade berry. Some more shiny leaf barberry. Wow. That's only the third time I've come across shiny leaf barberry. First time was one lone specimen near the Pine Creek Wilderness at the base of Guatai Mountain. That was the first time I ever saw it. I think, yeah, it was Guatai Mountain. Now, yeah, I'm seeing some pretty decent specimens over here. Yeah, this is a knockout hike over here. This is a knockout trail, I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely sensory overload for a person who loves botany. This is definitely sensory overload for me. And I mean that in the most positive way possible, because I love experiencing this kind of stuff. I just love experiencing this stuff. I don't know which way I should go. Just wonder which way I should go. Maybe I'll take the high road for now. Let's see. This is definitely a pretty interesting walk. Not gonna lie, this has been pretty fun. There's a pretty rugged looking Mission Manzanita right here. Some more bushroo and some common chamise. There's the water pump house over there. You can kind of see it downhill a little bit. And the honeysuckle's got some flowering going on right now too. Ooh, it's a little fragrant too. This is Lonicera subspicata denudata, southern honeysuckle. This is, I think, one of only 2 species I've seen here in Southern California. I believe the other one I saw it in Angeles National Forest, might have been Lonicera hispidula, might have been the other species I've seen. But the one I see by far the most is Lonicera subspicata denudata, our southern honeysuckle. That's from coastline to above 5,000 feet in the mountains, so it's everywhere. From coast to mountain, I think maybe even on the desert side perhaps. I don't know if all the way down into the true desert, but it's definitely quite a common find. And it looks like some dormant maidenhair fern. Probably Adiantum jordanii, I believe is what that is. Looks like it's dormant because it's, you know, dry season. And most ferns prefer moister locations, and that's not an exception. Here's an interesting scrub oak. Or no, this is a coast live oak. This one here, this is an interesting coast live oak because the foliage on it looks more like Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyadania. Now, I've seen some Cal Flora records all the way up even in Orange County. It's mostly a San Diego, maybe southern Riverside County and northern Baja. And it's more of an inland and higher elevation variant. But this definitely reminds me a little bit more of Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyadania. Especially with the more prominently fuzzy undersides of the leaves. So I'm going to go check Cal Flora, see if there are any records for Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyadania. I would not expect to see that here in much more coastal areas of San Diego County, especially at this low elevation. So that's something I definitely have to look into, because the hairiness on the leaves definitely suggests Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyadania. Well, look at this beautiful lemonade berry here. Look at that. Look at that. That's a beauty. Yeah, this has been an awesome trail. This is absolutely beautiful out here. So I love coming out here so much. Alright, there's this bigger lemonade berry coming up. That's a laurel sumac, of course. Haven't really been pointing this out much. There's not a whole lot of it here. It's here and there. And here's a pretty large spiny red berry. That's a pretty decent sized leaves for Rhamnus crocea. I've been wanting to see Rhamnus ilicifolia a little bit closer to the coast. But that one I normally only see in the foothills and mountains here in San Diego County. You find it a lot closer to the coast in Orange and LA counties, the coastal canyons and foothills. You'll see Rhamnus ilicifolia. And then I've seen that one up at nearly 7,000 feet in the Angeles National Forest. Okay. What do we got going on here? Where should I go? Wow. This has been an absolutely glorious hike. Let's see where this goes. I'm gonna go down to the canyon and explore down there for a few minutes. We'll take a look. We'll have a little bit of climbing on the way out, but it's worth it for this. Alright, well, see you down the way. Alright, well, first on the list of interesting things in this canyon, this side of the canyon, a pretty decent sized toyon. A pretty big one. Pretty large specimen. Huge root burl in there too. Some pretty decent sized stems. There's more of that beautiful laurel sumac that I covet so much. Yeah, so I took the right fork to come down this canyon a little bit, so I kind of want to see what things I could find here in the lower portions. We're heading down towards a riparian section right near Interstate 15. Maybe this will lead me down more as well. Yeah, this is pretty scenic down here too. Yeah, pretty large toyons and lemonade berries. Yeah, lemonade berries are getting thicker as we're going deeper in the canyon now. Things are getting larger and lusher. Oh yeah, this is getting pretty interesting here. Yeah. Start getting down by the willows and everything down here. It's kind of what I wanted to come down here to see if I could find here in this riparian section here. Oh, a little toyon seedling right here. Okay. Wow, yeah, some red willow down here too. Sure, yeah, that's red willow. Look at the buds. So there's another species called Salix lasiandra, Pacific willow, which is kind of similar, but the buds are not as pointy. The leaf buds are not as pointy as they are on the red willow, laevigata. Yeah, I got some water running through here. I think this might be a subsidiary of Penasquitos. This might be Chikorita Creek. I think that's the name of this. It might be Chikorita Creek or something like that. Might be what this is here. Yeah, look at that. Let's make sure there's no poison oak right over here. I think that's what this is. I think this is called Chikorita Creek, but I'm not 100% sure. I saw on Google Earth. Okay, and this just leads right back up to the trail right here. Leads back up to the single track. A little loose here. Yeah, it's not too bad. Just follow this for a minute or two and see. Wow. Coast live oak. This coast live oak's gonna have a bunch of acorns. This is the regular agrifolia variant right here. This is the regular Quercus agrifolia variety agrifolia. But yeah, that one sapling size thing I saw on the side of the hill was definitely pretty curious. Yeah, this is definitely regular Quercus agrifolia variety agrifolia, but that was kind of interesting. I had to think about that one for a minute. I was thinking that might have been variety Oxyadania, but again, intuition would tell me that this is too close to the coast and kind of low elevation for the Oxyadania variant. Here we are back at the regular trail here. Sorry, spider. Oh boy. Spider webs everywhere. Goodness gracious. Oopsies. You don't really see them until you're throwing sometimes. Alright. Back the way I'm going. Climb back up this canyon. Yeah, there's the exit for Rancho Penasquitos Boulevard and Powell Road going right. Here's that beautiful toyon again. That's a beautiful toyon. That is a beauty. Pretty decent sized specimen, I gotta say. See the huge roots branching from it. That's an impressive toyon. Alright, well, back up the hill I go. But I will find, we'll see. Alright, so I'm back at the junction. I'm going to take a short walk on this side, just for a couple minutes probably. Just a short distance. I don't think I'm going to go super far on this one. Get into another nicely area of thick chaparral. On these north-facing slopes, chaparral can be so thick. You don't feel like you're in chaparral anymore. You feel more like being in, like you're in a woodland or even a forest. That's partly why one of the nicknames for chaparral is the elfin forest. especially some areas, it really feels like you're actually walking in the understory of it. Normally chaparral's a little bit shorter of a vegetation type, but you're hiking in these steep walled canyons on the north facing slope. You kind of sometimes you forget you're actually in chaparral. I mean, some of these are, I mean, they're not really quite tree size, but they're pretty close. These are some pretty large shrubs. Some of them actually are tree size, albeit small trees. But if you've ever hiked in the understory of a really thick, mature stand of chaparral in the north-facing slope, you'll feel like you're hiking in woodland or forest. And where Chuck Dudley is popping up here, and this is more of a north-facing slope here, by the way. Kinda. Well, actually, kinda. More of a, I think it's northwest-facing slope, I believe. Where's this? I don't know. Yeah, I got some of the largest. How large some of those lemonade berries get down there. Lower down in these canyons, they get huge. This is breathtaking here. Wow, this is so beautiful. This is very luscious here. This trail's starting to get a little more overgrown, so I think it's going to be my turnaround point. It's another massive toyon. There's a massive toyon in there. I can see some of the branches on it are huge. Oh, that's a massive toyon. Let's see if I can get a little closer to that really quickly. See if I can get a quick perspective on it. Yeah, it's starting to get pretty overgrown here. Yeah, this is a huge toyon. Yeah, this is a pretty big one. I've seen them bigger, but this is a pretty big toyon here too, though. Wow, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's definitely starting to get more overgrown as we go along this stretch here. I guess curiosity is going to keep me going just a little bit more. And that's back up towards Miramar Benchmark, right up there, Hill 844. And that's Canyon Hills open space. So this goes to show you there are a lot of open space areas within a relatively short area. Wow, yeah, it's pretty nice. I think this is gonna be my turnaround point. Start heading back. But boy, was this worth getting out here to explore, I'll tell you that right now. It's worth getting up early and ducking out of the house. Otherwise, this would have been a lost week. 2 weeks ago, I had another lost week where I didn't do anything. So luckily, I redeemed it. Yeah, this is incredibly beautiful here. I'll have to figure out approximately where I turned around on this hike. Well, it'll be just a little bit before the Powell Road exit. That's how I'll know that I'm where I turned around, just a little bit past it. Because again, that's the exit for Powell Road going east, and Rancho Penasquitos Boulevard going west. All right, I think that's enough yapping for a little while, and I'm going to start making my way back. There's another big toyon right here. This one's got a pretty decent base on it too. trunks are kind of hard to see through all the old wild cucumber vines and branches of the toyon, but this one's got a pretty big base on it too. Man, there's some pretty impressive toyons. That's why I love hiking in canyons so much, especially towards canyon bottoms and on steep and on the north-facing slopes. It's because that's where everything is supersized. It's like everything's on everything's just on crazy mode. It's like everything. Oh yeah, look at this spiny redberry stem. Look at this. Some pretty decent sized branches on this spiny redberry's got. Wow, this thing's a pretty big one. And sometimes you see things on the way back you missed on the way out. Yeah, this spiny redberry's got some huge branches on it. Actually, that canyon appeared to be more of a west-facing slope. I was expecting it to be a little drier over there, but pleasantly surprised at how large some of those were. There's that water station there, water pump station, wherever that is, over there. Yeah, this has been an incredible, short but definitely sweet adventure. Here's that Coast Live Oak again in question. Now, this probably is just Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia, but definitely reminds me more of Quercus agrifolia, variety axiodanus. It almost looks like there's an intermediacy there, but again, I would not expect to find it this close to the coast. I mean, we're just over the hill from Rancho Penasquitos and Mira Mesa, so we're not that far from pretty coastal communities here in San Diego proper. But yeah, this is, for a short hike like this is definitely an absolute bombshell adventure. Really enjoyed getting out here and exploring, seeing some of these large chaparral shrubs over here. I didn't think I was going to go this far. I thought I was just going to climb up to the hill, and I thought that was going to be long enough, but that actually went pretty quickly. And there's a hill over there. It's Hill 590 right there. That's the one I climbed this morning. But I think I'm going to try to see if I can take the low road back to the main trail system and see if that takes me back. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do so. Here's another trail here, but I think I'll be good on that. Yeah, this has been a pretty fun adventure. Not gonna lie, it's beautiful out here. There's all these huge chaparral shrubs up there on the hillside. All right, let's see what else I find on the way back. There might be, if I can navigate it the right way, I should be able to have another stretch of unseen trail, or at least unseen to me, on the way back to the car. And of course, I gotta walk up the Spring Brook, or Spring Brook or something. And when I walk up that, I'll be able to show you some of the lush riparian stuff growing near the entrance to the park. But here we go, back in the chaparral again. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, beautiful Rus integrifolia. And that's one of the tall scrub oaks from earlier. We're back in the Berber's pinnata, subspecies pinnata. Okay, well, catch you on the next clip. I'm going to get a few pictures of these plants on the way through here. So here's that one of the last large mission manzanitas I saw again. I just can't get over that. That thing is huge. There are quite a few huge ones in the area. That thing is just absolutely breathtaking. There's some big ones up here too. Just looking at that. That is just so gorgeous. It's big as the pink-backed manzanitas are in our mountains. And those can get huge too. But this is a mission manzanita again. It's a xylococcus. The other manzanitas are arctostaphylos. Again, they're pretty close relatives actually. They're in the madrone tribe of the heath family, the Arbutoideae tribe, related to the madrones and strawberry tree, and in the heath family, the Ericaceae. So arctostaphylos, xylococcus are members of the arbutus, the Arbutoideae group. There hasn't been a lot of wildlife, but I do see what looks like a Audubon's cottontail kind of stalled there in the middle of the trail. A little Silvolagus auduboni action. I saw the black tips on the ears, so that's what I assumed was Audubon's cottontail, as opposed to the brush rabbit Silvolagus bachmani. But yeah, look at these Cercocarpus minutiflorus. These are some really nice, handsome specimens developing their seeds. Beautiful plants, beautiful shrubs. Just look at this rocky, look at this, some granite rocky outcrops on the side of this here. Right below that big old factory or whatever that is up there. Just down canyon from that is just this natural wonder of gorgeous chaparral. Just, and look at the silvery backlighting of the Cercocarpus. Cercocarpus, our species of Cercocarpus, they do that. That makes them, when they're in seed, so exhilarating and very ethereal. You can see here, when they're backlit by the sun, they're quite interesting to look at. When they're backlit by the sun, kind of give off a silvery sheen, which is a very attractive feature of our Cercocarpus. And I've borne witness to 3 different types of Cercocarpus here in Southern California. 2 here in San Diego County, 3 in LA and San Bernardino counties, and the 3 are, including the one here, the one that's predominant here in the coastal and foothill parts of San Diego County, Cercocarpus minutiflorus, again, which is this one here. And then you go more into the mountains here in San Diego County, you start getting Cercocarpus betuloides, variety betuloides, the birchleaf mountain mahogany. And then higher up in LA and San Bernardino counties, and sometimes, and I'm talking about generally the higher elevations, which would be Cercocarpus latifolius variety intermontanus, curleaf mountain mahogany. But I haven't seen curleaf mountain mahogany here in San Diego County. I don't believe it grows here. I don't think it does. But go to the San Bernardino Mountains, the San Jacinto Mountains, and the San Gabriel Mountains, you'll come across that one quite readily. And that one get pretty large. Gets to often be a size of a small multi-trunk tree. Go around Big Bear, and you'll see those things get massive. Some of the hills and mountains above Big Bear Lake, some of the curleaf mountain mahoganies get absolutely massive. So, yeah, so I come across 3 species of mountain mahogany, and all 3 of them are so interesting. The 2 most similar ones are the betuloides and the minutiflorus, which sometimes can be kind of tricky to tell apart. And here in San Diego County, mostly west of the lower mountain slopes, lowest mountain slopes on the coastal side towards the coast, you're going to be looking at this one, minutiflorus. And that one's got relatively smooth leaves, but then its relative betuloides starts picking up in the the mid elevations up towards the higher mountains, and that's got almost identically shaped leaves, but a little bit more of a fuzziness on the betuloides, variety betuloides. That's how I can generally tell. I've had a few times where I've been stumped. They do intergrade, and would not be surprised if sometimes they hybridize, but generally I could tell the two apart. Occasionally, sometimes I need context, but generally a little bit of fuzziness, I'm looking at betuloides. Shinier leaves, generally looking at Minutiflorus. Very similar species, similar growth habits. Only I think they both can get pretty large. I've seen both of them attain small tree size, but definitely what I got to do is start doing what I talked about a few months ago, talking about making field guide videos on certain genera of plants, like specific types of plants, as a part of my Spotlight series. Like for instance, I haven't started doing this yet, and I need to start doing it soon. Start getting some projects in the works for my channel. Include more broadly themed spotlight videos on types of plants, types of vegetation. For instance, do a spotlight or do a video on the scrub oaks, a general video about the scrub oaks, go into each different type, pointing them out, and combining them all into a video. So instead of staying just spotlight on California scrub oak or spotlight on Mueller scrub oak, start spotlighting all the scrub oaks here in Southern California, telling them apart. If I could find a way to make it out to the Mojave National Preserve, I can include another species of scrub oak which I've never encountered, called the Turbinella oak, or the desert scrub oak, or whatnot. Oh, there's another trail going up this way. Let's see. I think I'm supposed to go up this way. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to go up this way. Back towards that. I almost missed that. But yeah, I really need to start getting into those kind of videos. Start recording clips. Just get a bunch of memory cards and keep them separated for each different video theme, so I don't mix everything up and run out of space on one, and just put the videos on each card, so I can do a good spotlight on more like a field guide video. So I can start covering plants that are closely related, can be commonly confused. Start belting out those type of videos too. So make field guide videos and spotlights on different types of vegetation types, like spotlight on coastal sage grouse, spotlight on coastal maritime chaparral, and stuff like that. Probably be, again, some potentially interesting concept videos I could add to the channel. So we're almost back by hill 590 right here. That was such an enchanted canyon. So now I'm heading up towards this low pass. Start maybe making a loop out of this. All right, well, we'll see. We'll start getting out to some different places so we can start making those videos happen. All right, well, see you on the next clip. Here's that Audubon's cottontail right there. Just kind of gnawing at the grasses. A beautiful little bunny. I love seeing those things. I love seeing those bunnies. I just love seeing animals. Isn't that just cool? Look at that. Just chewing on some of those dry grasses. That's beautiful. We got a little beautiful bunny. Silvolagus adaboni. It's got the black tipped ears, so I can kind of tell. It's maybe not the best identification thing in the world, but that's generally how you tell those two apart. Alright, so I'm going to go walk along this and see where this leads. This might lead me to loop out this hike. Yeah, this has been an incredible, small but definitely not lacking hike. Definitely happy to have come out here to explore this area. Up here in the hills, there's a lot of giant ryegrass growing here. Well, yeah, there's a lot of it growing here. There's a whole population of it. It's good that it's growing here, because that's a native. This is the native grass. This is native. This stuff here is not. I don't know what species these grasses are, and I'm not really paying too much attention. But there's a whole California gnatcatcher. Yeah, you can hear that on camera. Kind of sounds like a kitten. That's a California gnatcatcher calling. Polyoptila californica californica. Down here, that's their subspecies. So yeah, this is all, look at this. This is native grass here. This is all non-native invasive grasses. I think some of these are avenas and other species of invasive grasses, but now we got a bunch of perennial native Limus condensatus growing here. What kind of sage is this? Oh, I think we got purple sage growing here. No way. Yeah, this is purple sage, Salvia leucophila. Yeah, this trying to smell the leaves to make sure I'm not smelling Cleveland sage, because that's the native sage in the area. No, this is Salvia leucophila. This is purple sage. You don't usually really find this in San Diego County, but here it is right here near Sabre Springs. We got a little patch of purple sage growing here. This is Salvia leucophila. That's a pretty cool find in San Diego County, because usually it's noted as growing only as far south as northern Orange County, and south of that it's not really found. But this is purple sage. This is not Cleveland sage. Cleveland sage and purple sage are very much look-alike species, very similar, easily confused. However, the Cleveland sage has more of a sweeter, perfumey aroma, whereas purple sage has more of that kind of pungent, spicy aroma. Has more of a spicy kick, spicy/minty kick. Kind of similar to black sage and white sage. Not as sweet and perfumey as Cleveland sage. So yeah, this is a pretty good find. This is purple sage here, Salvia leucophila. I used to see this a lot in LA County. Powder Canyon over near Peter F. Scabarram Regional Park in Hacienda Heights, Roland Heights area. I used to see tons of it because that's where it's native, and it grows all over the place. I've only come across purple sage a couple times here. One time was near the Tierra Santa entrance to Mission Trails. There was one purple sage right at the end of Claremont Mesa Boulevard, the entrance to Mission Trails Regional Park. But yeah, we got some purple sage growing here. It's a pretty good find, especially for here in central San Diego County. So this is pretty cool. I'm gonna get a picture of this and put this on CalFlora. Here's more of it here. It's more purple sage. Maybe about 50, 60, 70 feet down from where I was. There's a whole patch of purple sage growing here. It's a pretty good find here in San Diego County, I'm not gonna lie. That is incredible. I'm really digging that. Here we go. Nice big tamarisk. Look at that. These are not native, but they've definitely become a part of our landscape. It looks like a cypress or a juniper because of its foliage, but this is not a conifer. This is a flowering plant. It's an angiosperm. Conifers are gymnosperms, cone-bearing, cone and naked seed-bearing. There's a wren-tit bird chirping. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is Tamarix chinensis, Tamarix ramosissima. But yeah, this is a tamarisk. It's a nice, very nice one. I mean, they're pretty cool looking plants, not gonna lie. Probably getting supplemental moisture. There's a wren-tit chirping off in that scrub oak right there. I can see some movement in there. Trying to see if I can see the bird, because I rarely see them. My last Mission Trails hike I did, I actually saw one just flitting about, and I got pretty close enough to get some footage of it. Yeah, I can see it moving around inside of the scrub oak a little bit. Very seldom see them. Probably can count on less than 2 hands how many times I've seen them. Actually, maybe about 1 hand. All right. I'm going to work my way back down this. Looks like this should take me back towards my trail, so this will definitely close out an interesting loop option. So yeah, purple sage growing here in San Diego County, and it appears to be more of it here below the fence. So I wonder if it's a natural population, or if it's escaped from the landscaping up there, because they're not really known from San Diego County to my knowledge. But again, that was purple sage. Cleveland sage is a very similar species, but Cleveland sage has more of a sweeter more perfumed aroma, as opposed to a spicy pungence like purple sage has. So I definitely know what that is. Purple sage is a plant I did spotlight a couple years ago, or a few years ago, back in 2021, if interested. I've not done a spotlight on Cleveland sage yet. Hopefully that'll be in the making sometime, probably next year, because I think we're past the bloom time for the most part. All right, so we're descending down. Some more scrub oak action over here. It's predominantly Quercus dumosa, but they look like there are a few acutidens / burbidifolias further on that side of the canyon. So yeah, this has definitely been a very, very interesting botanical experience. I was kind of wondering how crazy it was going to get, and I was definitely not disappointed. So what we got coming up here? Oh, looks like we got some prostrate wattle growing here. Yeah, prostrate wattle from Australia, Acacia redolens. Been seeing this quite a bit more now. It's actually coming into the wildlands a lot more. Alright, so we're about to join the trail. I think the main trail, I believe. So I guess what I will do is turn right and head back up this way. I think this is where I came from. I don't even remember now. Well, I'm heading the right way. Look to see if I see my footprints in the soil. Yeah, I see them. So yeah, this is the way I came. All right, well, keep working my way back, and shouldn't be that much longer, then I'll be back at the car. Very interesting morning out here. Very happy I came out here. All right, see you on the next clip. I think this probably I think this little road, there's the main path right there. I think this just dead ends up there. I think it's just an old service road up to that factory or whatever that is up there. So I'm just heading back. This is the way I came right here. I was just kind of curious, so I kind of took a little side step off of there. Ooh, a young mourning dove. Pretty cool. Yeah, again. Enjoying these beautiful scrub oaks. Ever since I was 11, 12 years old, I've been fascinated by scrub oaks. Fascinated with them for most of my life. Quercus dumosa. It's the first species of scrub oak I ever got exposure to as a kid. Always admired them. Remember, I used to go to, used to be called Ray Kroc Middle School up on Conrad Avenue, west of the 805. No. Near the 805. It's near the 805. It's on eastern part of Claremont Mesa. And I remember I went there for my 7th grade year, the first half of my 7th grade year, before moving to Orange County, where I lived for a while after that. And I remember my PE class. We had a canyon. We had part of San Clemente Canyon was behind us. San Clemente Canyon was behind us, behind the school. And I remember our PE teacher would have us run laps around the field. And the field went around the back perimeter of the school, the northern perimeter fence. And I remember I'd be running along, and I'd noticed the scrub oaks growing along the side, because I was on the mesa, there was some scrub oak chaparral, and I remember admiring, hey, Quercus dumosa growing there. So I'd be running around. Of course, I'd be looking over the fence to see if I could see the scrub oaks, admiring them. Okay, again, I tell you, I always tend to notice things on the way out that I didn't notice on the way, or the way back that I didn't notice on the way out. Prime example, Mojave yucca, Yucca scadigera. Didn't notice that on the way out. And there's our hill up there. Hill 590. All right. So yeah. So I've been in love with scrub oaks ever since I was a kid. I was a preteen. Already admiring these beautiful scrub oaks we have here in San Diego County. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and keep on trucking back down. We should be back over by where those little boardwalks are, where the water is. And I'll see you along the way. First, I'm gonna take a little detour, a little side detour for a moment here. There's a little use trail here. Just wanna see. Should be a pretty short detour around here. I'm just kind of curious as to what's going on around here. Oh, looks like I'm gonna have an interesting thing coming up. Here's look at some fence hedge of poison oak. Wow, that's pretty cool, actually. Then we got some young river red gum eucalyptus here, Eucalyptus comadulensis. I was trying to see what kind of oak this is. I was thinking this was a scrub oak, but no, this is a coast live oak. I was just curious. Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia. At first, I thought this was going to be a scrub oak. I was literally expecting this to be a big scrub oak. I was going, oh boy. And here's a smaller coast live oak. Huh, nice looking coast live oak. This little youngster here, beautiful. All right, I'm gonna go back up to the trail. Now these are scrub oaks here. These are those Quercus dumosa. Yeah, more Mojave yucca. Another interesting side note. Yeah. But yeah, I like when poison oak, or a lot of our woody shrubs and vines grow up along the side of fences. They just get real tall and crazy looking. I like it. Here's the fruit of our southern honeysuckle. It's before it turns red. A beautiful orange. Very beautiful. Yep. Whenever you see me out hiking, you know I say the word beautiful a lot. And I don't just use that term loosely, believe me. I do not use that term loosely. Because I really, truly find a lot of beauty in even the simplest of places. Look at this poison. Look at these poison oaks here. These are more like shrubs. In the woods, woods and forests, they tend to be more like lianas, which are woody-based vines, woody vines, a liana. But out in the middle of open spaces, these things can form some pretty impressive thicket-forming shrubs. They're pretty impressive looking. Western poison oak, Toxicodendron diversilobum. As much as I always talk about, oh, watch out for poison oak, oh, watch out for poison oak, it is still a beautiful native plant. Especially come October when the whole plant is covered in red fall foliage. This looks like we got some more southern honeysuckle growing here. I was just trying to see if these are the trunks from it, but I think this might have been a baccharis or something. The honeysuckle growing up in it. And there's another Adolphia californica right there, California spine shrub. There's more of it up in the scrub oaks too. So yeah, there's quite a bit of, smells like Mira Mesa, Rancho Bernardo, Rancho Penasquitos, and Sabre Springs seem to have a pretty decent amount of California spine shrub populations, which is pretty cool. It's pretty impressive in my book. Yeah, see these poison oaks here tend to grow more as upright shrubs. They have some beautiful bark, very typical of Anacardiaceae, the sumac and cashew family. A lot of their branches are whitish grayish, and our sumacs tend to have that. Lemonade berry, when the trunks get older, becomes very deeply furrowed, and on sugar bush, rusovata, tends to be really flaky and furrowed. But their younger stems tend to be a little grayer as well. Pretty common in cashew family plants. So yes, I do talk about avoiding poison oak like the plague, but I also do admire it from a distance. Of course, from a distance, but here are these scrub oaks again. Again, how do you not fall in love with these miniature oaks? What they lack in size, they more than make up for in charm, beauty, and scenic value. Just look at the acorns developing on these. I love it. Scrub oaks are so fun. They're just so fun. I've grown a couple from seed before. They can be pretty fast growing. I've had one I bought from a nursery, and that thing grew like that thing grew. And it was in a pot too. I had it in a pot and it grew like crazy. They can be pretty fast growing. I love our native plants. I think they make the most interesting parts of the garden. All right, well, enough yapping. Some more hiking as I get close to the little boardwalk section, a little wet, swampy area here, a little marshy area. Yeah, see, we've got cattails growing here. And I believe these are broadleaf cattails. The leaves are not that broad on these, though. This could be Typha domingensis. Maybe I'll look on CalFlora to see what's going on, but broadleaf cattails I figured would have slightly wider blades of leaves. And these get pretty tall. Some of these are approaching 10 feet tall. These are some pretty big cattails. So here we go. Alright, so well on my way back. It's got some alkali heliotrope here. Heliotropium curasavicum variety oculatum. Right here on the trail. Interesting. Alright. Yeah, it's been definitely a very interesting little adventure here. Definitely fun coming out here and exploring. Shouldn't be too much longer before I'm back. Kind of sad to see the adventure go, but it's definitely been a nice one, to say the least. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Kind of see near where the last stretch goes along those houses and through a riparian area and then back to the car. So I'll go ahead and keep heading back and keep you posted. Alright, so we're approaching the final stretch. Walking along the houses here, so I'm going to keep my voice down. One interesting thing I noticed on the way out, it's still pretty dark over here. Interesting vines growing along here. Probably escapes from the cultivation of the nearby residences. Not sure what these are, to be honest with you. I gotta look these up. These are very interesting looking. I wonder if they're nightshade family plants. They look like they might be nightshade family relatives. Gotta look these up. Very interesting. Not native, that's for sure. Definitely not native. First I thought they were passion flower plants because the shape of the leaves was similar, but again, it was pretty dark this morning when I first started this. So I gotta do a little research on what kind of ornamental that is. Nice red willow here. Oh, river red gum eucalyptus. Oh, look at this red willow. Here's a stately young tree right here. A nice looking red willow. Beautiful. Oh, there's a pecan tree. Caria illinoisensis. That's a pecan tree right there. A young pecan tree. And there's a river red gum. Eucalyptus comodoensis. It's in bloom too. Yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat. But yeah, pecan tree from the central and southeastern U.S., Midwest and south central U.S. That's a pecan tree right there. If you get enough cold air drainage, you can get some pretty nice yellow fall color on those pecan trees. Pretty attractive. Yeah, this is mostly red willow. Most of these willows are red willows mixed in with these beautiful coast live oaks. Yeah, this is the part I didn't really get much on film this morning because of the darkness over here. Look at that. Mexican fan palms. Yeah. Some of these coast live oaks are pretty vigorous looking too. Pretty healthy looking trees. Here's another Eucalyptus comodoensis. These things are very fast growing trees. I'll be surprised if that tree was only 20 years old. Maybe even younger. These trees can grow very quickly. Very quickly. Here's another coast live oak right here. see any acorns on this one yet. This one's definitely got a little age to it. Some of these are a little older. We'll take a little side trip here, or at least close to the water. There's a nice pool right here. Creek's flowing very nicely. And there's even desert wild grape growing, covering some of these shrubs and trees. It's all desert wild grape, Vitis gerdiana. Crazy. Pretty crazy. Some nice scrub oak action here. This one might be a little intermediate. Yeah, it's pretty neat over here. Look at a poison oak covering this blue elderberry. Poison oak is just covering it. Like the desert grape is covering all the other stuff. I'll tell you, these lianas, these woody vines, sometimes cover these trees in the riparian zone. Here's the grape right here. Here's the Vitis gerdiana. Sometimes the leaves are much more lobed than that. Very handsome. Yeah, I like these rocks. People live right above us here, and got these bouldery outcrops here. This is crazy. That is gorgeous. I'll tell you one thing, the Rancho Penasquitos area, Sabre Springs, this whole area is really incredible. Really fun to explore here. Look at that, boulders. Yeah, here's more of that desert grape. And California sycamore. Okay, so we're just about back at the street. Just walk up this step well here. Before I do, this leads us back to Springbrook. This leads back to the street. We'll take a brief detour and take a look at this for a few minutes. Look at this. It's an incredible tangle of desert grape everywhere. Look at this. I'm trying to see if I see any grapes on the vines. I'm not really seeing any. That's kind of sad. I was hoping to see some grapes growing on them. Here's a pretty big arroyo willow. Yeah, that's a pretty big arroyo willow growing in here too. So I'll take a short walk along this. Like I said, where I'm parked is just up that way a little bit, but kind of wanted to see this for a few minutes. Look at that laurel sumac. It's a nice one. Yeah, it's pretty insane. I like this. I don't know where this is going to go. If it led up to Powell Road, I'd probably just walk along the road the rest of the way back. Another nice arroyo willow. Yeah. Ooh, some southwestern spiny rushes. Chucas acutus, subspecies Leopoldii. Yeah. Pretty impressive. That's definitely ended up being a much longer video than I thought it was going to be when I originally started hiking this. Pretty tall lemonade berry. It's pretty sparse. Looks like it's struggling a little bit, but I like how these are trimmed to expose their stems. Some nice California sycamores growing up here too. I'm sure these are probably planted. Down here though, look at that. Yeah, very nice. I'll probably just go along this for a short distance. If it leads up to Powell Road, then I'll just probably walk that back. It's a nice wooded area here. Nicely wooded area. Of course, Brazilian pepper trees. And the native relative, lemonade berry, which is related in the cashew family to the pepper tree, or Eva haziana, San Diego marsh elder, growing along here. And lots of young Mexican fan palm. Growing along here. Boy, pretty cool what you'll find. And Gooding's black willow, that's another type of willow here. Alright, what else am I going to find? Let's see. Wow. There's a big toyon over there. Right there. That's a big toyon. Ooh, look at the leaves of this laurel sumac. These leaves are huge. Tell this area retains moisture a lot longer. Here are the cottony seeds of the willows. Again, this is Gooding's black willow, Salix goodingi. Look at that Eucalyptus comodolensis. Ooh, boy. Dang, that thing's getting huge already. It's a pretty young tree. I can tell the size of its stem. I just can't stop exploring. I just can't help it. Just really enjoying this. Look at this patch of coastal sage scrub right below people's houses. And this riparian section. Wow. It is just so luscious in there. Just wondering where this is going to lead. Ah, this is so beautiful here. So I just can't stop. I just can't stop exploring. I definitely, extremely highly recommend this. Such a variety of scenery. Definitely highly recommended exploring this area. It is absolutely divine. More scrub oaks popping up. Yeah, this is divine. Wow, people living around here are so lucky. They got all this beautiful territory out here. Even you can hear acorn woodpeckers calling off. Ah, this is divinely beautiful. Just wonder where this is going to lead. I'm kind of curious. For some reason, just can't seem to stop exploring. Wonder what that is over there. Probably a park. Might turn around pretty soon. Nice sized toyons over here. Very luscious. I think there's a school right there. I think I'm next to a school and a park. think there's a school and there was supposed to be a park near here. I think there's actually a park up there. It's just so hard to stop exploring. There's just so much here. There's so much here to explore. Alright, I'll take a few pictures as I consider what my next move is going to be. Alright, the adventure's about to continue just a little bit more. Okay, here's a use trail out to a street. I think I'm near Sabre Springs Road. So let's find out which street I'm coming out to explore now. Ooh, I gotta get up this. I think this is a school here. Interesting. I think I'm supposed to go this way. There's the school. So now I'm on surface streets. This is part of. Is this Powell Unified School District? This is San Diego still. Creekside Elementary, that's the name of the school. I'm going to keep working my way up this way and see what else I find. Interesting. So here I am walking along Springhurst Drive. Interesting. I think I'm way off course though for getting back. Interesting. That was the canyon I was hiking down below us. I can see the hill from this morning. That's the hill I hiked. Hill 590. Alright. Let's see if I can take this back. Okay, there's the school. Guess I'm getting more of an adventure than I originally planned. Really don't know the streets around here too well. So I guess hoof it along this and see where this leads. See, this leads me back to my car. Ooh, I'm in this park. African sumac. Cypress lancea. Another cashew family tree. In this park here, I don't even know the name of it. It's probably Creekside or something, but got a lot of African sumac trees planted here. Really cool. Yep. Used to be in the genus Rus. Used to be known as Rus lancea. Sometimes still is in old books. But these are from, I believe, South Africa. Handsome small trees. I have one in front of my apartment in Boynton Park. Very handsome trees. Easy for the seeds to germinate. They germinate easily. Cypress lancea. Pretty interesting. There's the park. street right now. Probably have to maneuver around a little bit to get back to my car. Should be heading that way, actually. So I might have to maneuver my way around a little bit here. Yeah, here it is. Sayarcia lancea. Pretty neat looking trees. Got some naked coral trees planted here. Erythrina coralloides. Pretty cool. Here's some more Sayarcia lancea. Ooh, toyons trimmed as trees. Look at these. These are toyons. These are trimmed as trees. Ooh, pretty neat little park. Here's our jacaranda tree. Jacaranda mimosifolia. Still got some purple blooms on it. Pretty neat. Yeah, jacaranda mimosifolia from South America. Here's some more African sumac right here. There's a big toyon action over here. I think the trail's just down there, I think. Yeah, look at that. These are big toyons. These are huge. These are huge toyons. Pretty interesting. I guess I'll go head up this way up the road and see if I can find the streets that I need. We'll see. Otherwise it's going to turn into a really big adventure. So this is Wicker Bay Cove. And that's Meadowgrass Lane. Let's see if I can navigate the side streets back to my car. There's a lot of scrub oak chaparral up there. Pretty interesting. Yeah. I'll see you along the way. Good news is I'm heading the right way. There's Springbrook. So I'm supposed to turn right here. Shouldn't be shouldn't be that far from my car. And there's Springbrook. Huh. Navigated myself pretty well. Gotta admit. South Creek Neighborhood Park. Alright. Ooh, a loquat tree. Pretty cool. I think I'm going the right way. Pretty sure I am. I'll find out. If not, I'll just have to go back the other way. Sweet gums. American sweet gums. From the eastern half of the U.S. And they also grow all the way down to Guatemala. Down the tropical highland mountains. Pretty interesting. It's been a very interesting hike and walk. Yeah. Not gonna lie, this was definitely worth it. Should be heading the right way on this. Should be down the hill here, I believe. I am on the right street. I'm actually on the right street. Just pretty sure because I was parked at a downhill pitch. It's uphill the other way. So I definitely put some mileage in today. I don't know exactly how many yet until I map it out, but should be able to get a pretty good map on this because trails I follow are pretty well defined. And some Aleppo pines right up here. Yeah, even botanizing in the middle of the neighborhood. As you notice, sometimes the sweet gum trees will start hinting during the middle of summer what their fall color is going to be like. You notice these sweet gum trees already have some hints of red on them. It's not uncommon to see sweet gum trees do that even in months like August and early September before the leaves really change. Look at that. Ooh, these people have an arroyo willow in their yard. How lucky! Look at that. That's an arroyo willow in their backyard. That is so cool. But yeah, you can see sweet gum trees starting to get hints of fall color already. Alright, I'm going to keep on walking this and I'll catch you on the next clip. Well, I'm coming at the end of this hike already. Actually, where I'm parked is just up the hill, actually. Just kind of loops around. This is probably going to do it for me. My car's just parked up maybe about a block up the hill. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next hike. Hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did.